how to master the 10 essential ingredients for successful nonprofit food relief operations. We're going to be talking, you're going to be hearing from Paul Rodney Turner. He's the founder of Food Yoga International. I'll give you a little background about Paul. He affectionately is known as the Food Yogi, a renowned speaker, author, and humanitarian whose dynamic presence and wisdom inspire audiences globally. As the International Director of Food Yoga International, formerly known as Food for Life Global, Paul has dedicated over 35 years to feeding millions of children and adults across 60 countries, embodying the spirit of compassionate service and spiritual awareness. His innovative approach to life, integrating ancient Vedic principles with modern wellness practices, has transformed lives through the concept of food yoga, which emphasizes conscious eating, gratitude, and the profound connection between food and spirituality. To date, his nonprofit network has served over 8 billion free meals. That is incredible. And without further ado, we welcome here to the stage Paul Rodney Turner.
How you doing, Christopher?
Hi, Paul.
I'm
doing
good,
great. Oh, very impressive. 8 billion meals. My God.
Yeah, that's over nearly 45 years or something like that. The charity's been around since the 70s, and there's a lot of meals have gone out.
That is fantastic. It's so great to see that. Well, we are looking forward to hearing you today. You're going to be talking with us about, the how to master the 10 essential ingredients for successful nonprofit food relief operations, and the stage is all yours. There we go.
Yeah, so how to master. So you like the appropriate martial artist here. So the idea is that what I found over the years is that there's 10 essential ingredients that you need, not just for food relief, but particularly for food relief, to build a successful project. So the content I'm going to go through is those 10 ingredients, and they're very practical, they're very logical. And these are the ingredients here, and I'll speak on each one of them. So the first one is united vision. Second is 5 essential strategies. The third is excellence. Fourth is involve people. 5 is promote, promote, promote. 6 is endorsement. 7, social integration. 8, truthfulness. 9, patience and friend raising. And 10 is purity. So these are the 10, very different to what you'd probably expect when you talk about 10 ingredients, but these are the more of the philosophy of developing a successful food relief charity. So united vision, the most important thing here is that we want to have the team committed and centered around a united vision, everyone working on the same page, essentially. Ensure that everyone's got, emotional investment in the project, and they're agreeing on, the core values of the project. So you want to create a mission statement which guides all those activities, and regularly review that mission statement to make sure that it aligns with the mission, the values of the charity as it evolves, because things change. The 5 essential strategies are identify and target the social needs. So you want to look at what's happening in your local community. Is unemployment an issue? Is it children? Is it elderly people? I know when I was in Russia traveling back in the day, in the early 90s, the fall of the Soviet, one of the biggest problems in that particular country was elderly people were not getting cared for, because there was no social security system. So pretty much the elderly people were sort of left on their own. And it was very sad to see grandmothers and grandfathers on the street begging just for basic needs, and they weren't being taken care of by the family. So identify the social need in your particular community, target that, obviously, with an innovative solution. Partner with other organizations who have established themselves in the area, so you can lean on them to build your brand, to build your reputation, and also to get a sort of a foot in the door and establishing your presence. Focus on feeding children, because children are the future. So wherever you are, you may have a particular social need that is standing out, whether it's refugees or elderly or homeless people. But in any case, you should always make sure there's some sort of a project, some sort of an outreach to feeding children, because they're the future. Plant-based, of course, That's important to us at Food Yoga International. We believe it's not only more cost efficient, but it's better for the environment. So a plant-based solution is always, checks all the boxes. And begin by feeding your own community and family. So charity begins at home. So you want to make sure that you're building a strong foundation, and that begins with establishing something on a local level before you start to expand beyond your local area. Excellence in service, nothing more important than quality. Quality is more important than quantity. So strive for excellence in everything. So make sure that, even if you're only serving 20 meals a day, if they're the 20 best meals that you can serve, then that's better than serving 100 poorly prepared meals. Train your volunteers in food handling, proper food handling techniques and services. Make sure they understand the basics of proper handling, quality-wise, and ensure that all food is prepared and served with loving intention. That's actually something which is very unique at Food Yoga International. We believe that food has an inherent value on a subtle level. So one of the ingredients of the food that we prepare is the intention that we invest in that food as we prepare it and serve it. And that's often overlooked. But we all know this for a fact. We all have the experience of tasting our mother's meal or our father's meal that's prepared with a loving intention. We see the difference. A meal that is prepared at home has a much more deeper impact on our consciousness and our feelings. So we believe that food is a carrier of intention at Food Yoga International, and that's therefore one of the most important aspects of which makes us different in this space. Involve people. Everyone loves to serve. Service is the innate characteristic of the soul. We all thrive on service. We may have all the money in the world, but if we don't have a purpose, a service, then we're never going to reach that satisfaction. So that's the fact. That's a fact of life for every single person in the world. So we want to look for ways to engage people in serving in the project. Everyone has something valuable to offer. Every single living thing on the planet has a service to perform for the entire ecosystem. So encourage broad community participation in the project. Start a supporters club, create a role for everyone from cooking to administration. There's always something that someone can do. Promote. There's a lot of noise out there, and in order to stand out, you've really got to promote because now with the advent of social media, it's so difficult to get noticed. So you've got to do whatever you can to stand out, whether that's leveraging on influential people, or whether that's doing something out of the box and creative and standing out and creating a video, for example, that goes viral. So the duck that quacks the loudest gets the bread. So the key points here are propagation is crucial for building awareness and support. Use every available platform possible. So you want to have presence on all the different mediums. Brand your program with logos and consistent messaging. Consistent messaging is super important. So that way you can, define yourself, uniqueness. Utilize noteworthy days. This is another interesting way to propagate or promote. You want to make sure that you're taking advantage of established community events. For example, I give here is Veterans Day. On Veterans Day, it would be ideal if your project was providing meals to veterans or homeless vets on the street. So you're highlighting something which is established, and you're making yourself relevant in that respect, or your project relevant. Endorsements, leverage the biggest voices in the room. Key points here are leveraging endorsements from celebrities, dignitaries, influencers, and so on. Endorsements build credibility, and they expand your reach. Seek out endorsements and testimonials from respectable figures. So it's very important also to make sure that you choose the right people to endorse your project. Don't align yourself with people that maybe have a reputation that is adverse or not representative of the morals, the standards, the values that you represent in your charity. So make sure you're choosing the right people. And highlight these endorsements in all your promotional materials. Social integration. This is an important one. Always try to be relevant. It's similar to the earlier point. You want to integrate your program into the community through events and celebrations. Use festivals, holidays, and things like that to leverage that so that you become more and more relevant in the eyes of the public. The example I'm giving here in that picture is Holi. That's a festival of color, which is very popular in India. It's become popular in many parts of the world. But the basic idea behind the Holi festival is to promote unity and diversity, that we're all very, very different, but we're all connected on this planet as earthlings, as brothers and sisters, energetically connected. So that's a very beautiful example. So you want to look for those sort of opportunities where you can make your project even more relevant in the eyes of the public. Truthfulness is super important. It's literally the last leg of religion, according to the ancient Indian Hindu teachings. It's the last leg of religion. Transparency builds trust, and maintain honesty and transparency in all your operations. Demonstrate accountability with an open book policy. Adhere to ethical fundraising and financial practices, and regularly report to donors. Make sure the donors are aware that the money that they're donating is going to specific things which they expect to happen. Make sure that your money is not being used, being used efficiently, and it's not being used irresponsibly. Well, another example there, I say utilize blockchain technology. It's a beautiful thing about blockchain is that it's immutable records, so that therefore there's no such thing as tampering the records with the blockchain. Patience and fundraising is the next one, and it all starts with a handshake, because if fundraising really is all about fundraising, if you want to build a consistent donor base and expand your donor base, focus on building friendships before fundraising. So establishing that relationship, that care, that concern, opening yourself up, being very honest and down to earth, and saying, like, this is what we can do, this is what we can't do. We appreciate any support that you can offer, but being very honest and down to earth and friendly. Fundraising is the most important aspect of fundraising. So cultivate relationships, build trust, engage donors through newsletters and personal communications. And another important point here, takeaway, is that 80% of your income will come from 20% of your donors. So make sure you invest that proper time to cultivate those people. Purity is the force. May the force be with you. That's something which I learned when I was a monk a long time ago, when I was practicing a Hindu tradition of monkism. And one of the things we learned was that purity was the force. It's the most powerful force in the universe. If you're pure, then you can cut through all the barriers of rejection. So emphasize purity in all aspects of your program: food, intention, and service. Ensure all the food is served is plant-based, because plant-based is not only is it clean from a nutritional point of view, more nourishment for the physical body, but it's also cleaner for the mind and consciousness, because there's less negative influence on that food. Less pain and suffering is invested in that food. Educate your team on the spiritual and environmental benefits of plant-based diet. Implement practices to maintain purity in food preparation. And a quote here: purity, humility, and love are the most powerful forces in the universe. The last one is sustainable. That's the last of the 10 ingredients. So these are other aspects of developing an impactful project, is sustainable food relief. Because nowadays, with all the talk about global warming and climate change and things like that, people are starting to be aware more and more how important it is to respect Mother Nature, and how important it is to prepare and preserve the future for the children coming through. Make sure that we're not destroying things in the wake of their evolving into the becoming leaders of the world. Sustainability is crucial for long-term impact. Incorporate environmentally friendly practices into your program. Use local, organic, and plant-based ingredients to reduce environmental impact. Implement practices like composting and recycling. And the environmental benefits of a plant-based diet are just well-established facts these days. Integrating ethics and compassion. Service with a smile. Ethical values and compassion should guide all operations. Serve with a heart full of love and commitment to do good. So you want to make sure that the people that you're involving in this project have the right sort of motivation. They're not doing it simply for fame or name. They're doing it because they actually care about the people they're serving. So make sure you choose the right people and you train them up so that they have a heart filled with compassion and concern, and they're actually doing it for the right reasons. Emphasize the role of compassion in volunteer training and make ethical decisions making a core part of your program. True strength lies in compassion. And building a better tomorrow, life is about service. And this is a point I touched on earlier on, that the innate characteristic of the soul is service. Whereas the innate characteristic of, for example, sugar is sweetness, water is liquidity, fire is heat and light, there is an innate quality of the soul that really motivates us, and that is service. When we serve is when we actually feel satisfaction. When we're gifting a present is more satisfying than actually receiving a present. So it's sort of built into our DNA. We're programmed to serve. We want to serve. We like to serve. It actually fulfills us. So the key points here, we've covered essential elements, practical strategies, and the importance of sustainability and ethics and compassion. And by applying these principles, your program can make a lasting impact. And the actions that get involved spread the word and help build a better future through food relief. Service is the innate quality of the soul, as I mentioned, and that's a very important takeaway. If you want to do something valuable, do something of service. And that's the last slide. And I think I have contact information there, which something, if you can reach us at ffl.org, we're Food Yoga International. As Christopher mentioned, we're the largest plant-based food relief in the world, and we're actually serving over 1 million meals every day, and they're all freshly cooked plant-based meals.
And I know we also have a couple questions here. We had a question from somebody in the audience listening. What are some practical strategies for effective food distribution in nonprofit settings, especially when resources are limited?
A practical solution. I mean, the point is, with food relief, we often think of it has to be a complete meal, like a full meal, and in order for it to be effective. But actually, even the simplest offering of food can be very effective, because at the end of the day, as I mentioned, food is a carrier of intention. Is a great communication tool. So when you're offering something, even the simplest thing, it can be such a meaningful impact, make a meaningful impact on that person, even if it's an apple, a banana, a couple of bananas, a bag of peanuts. It's like, thank you so much for caring. I feel the love in this offering. I appreciate you. It's like, so we can start very small. It's all about the
Yeah,
intention and
intentions.
the quality of the giving. That's the most important thing.
Love it. I love it. And the tension is so important. Another question is, what is your vision for the future of nonprofit food relief, and how do you see it evolving in the coming years?
I think more and more projects are going to start to resonate with the plant-based solution, because it is much more sustainable, as research is showing. It's way more cost efficient. It's better for the planet. It's better for animals, and it also conveys this idea that we're all in this together. We're all equal participants in this thing we call life. Every single living thing in the world has a service to perform for the entire ecosystem. Every bug, every insect, every herb has something to provide to serve the entire ecosystem. So when we value that, then we learn that a plant-based solution is the best solution for food relief, because it is the solution which has which creates the least amount of harm and provides the greatest amount of good.
Great. All right. So good. I mean, this is some great information, and I love what you're doing, and how this continues to evolve. Before we're gonna ask if you could do a testimonial for us, but before we do so, I just wanted to just maybe ask one more question. I know you answered the last question, what's the future of non-profit? But I just wanted to say, from your organization, what is the next big thing that that you feel like is going to be something you're going to make even for a bigger difference than you have so far in this particular area?
Well, for the longest time, we were branded as Food for Life Global. That's how I initially established the organization. We recently rebranded as Food Yoga International, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One is that we wanted to emphasize the food philosophy of the charity. So we're not just simply filling bellies. What's more important to us at Food Yoga International is that we're trying to shift consciousness using
Yeah.
food as the medium. We want to prepare meals on it with a loving intention, pure, clean, plant-based meals, and use that as a way to communicate, I love you, I care about you, you're important to us. Here's a meal that's prepared with love. It's not only going to nourish your body, but it's going to nourish your mind and soul. And so we want to emphasize that aspect of food relief, because at the end of the day, there's no lack of food in the world. Hunger is not because of lack of food. Hunger is because of a lack of unity. We don't see ourselves as a united global family. And because of that, the resources are not being properly shared. And therefore, there are people that are starving. If
Yeah.
we actually saw ourselves as a global family, things like hunger would disappear overnight. So at Food Yoga International, we have a practical solution for creating this sense of unity. That's why our mission is uniting the world with pure food. And so we want to emphasize that by rebranding, the charity as Food Yoga International. And our goal is to create more food yogis. So yeah, I'm a food yogi, and I want to see more food yogis.
I love it. I love it. I love the term. I mean I'm into yoga. I do yoga, but now when I think about
There
it
you
with food,
go.
very very impressive. And we need more food yogi advocates out there.
Exactly.
Well, this has been a wonderful presentation, Paul Rodney. I can't thank you enough. Would you mind giving us when they're gonna take me off camera,
Sure.
off the video, excuse me. And then for 1 minute, if you could give a testimonial about your experience with the summit or your experience overall with these summits with Glorium Technologies.
Hi, my name is Paul Rodney Turner, and I just wanted to say what a pleasure it was to participate in this summit. At Food Yoga International, our goal is to unite the world with pure food. And the more we can share this idea, the more we can, get ideas from other nonprofits and become better and better, the better the world will be. So I appreciate this opportunity to share what we're doing at Food Yoga International, and hear from other participants. And I look forward to a brighter, happier world where people are united and happy, and there's less violence, and the world is more nourished physically, mentally, and spiritually.
Okay, thank you so much. Wonderful testimonial, Paul Rodney. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us here today and sharing your wisdom and all the great things that your organization is doing.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more short form educational videos on the food yoga lifestyle.